Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, hi. All good. How are you?
Yes, all good as well.
Great, great, great. So, yeah, thanks for joining. So, let me give you a small brief on what we are doing so
Right.
that it's a context right. So, I am a research scholar. I'm Harish Kumar, and I'm a research scholar at IIT Madras, and we under the domain of finance.
Okay.
And this is Ranita. She is a research
Hi.
intern.
Okay.
So we are working together on this, and we are starting a new part. So we are part of a fintech lab,
Okay.
and the lab is actually starting a new podcast series to understand financial models of multiple multiple people. So now we are starting with content creators.
Okay.
So that is what we are trying to do, and this podcast will run across your content creation journey from how you started, how you grew, and
Right.
things in between, the challenges and things like that. So it will
Okay.
be entirely about that, and yeah,
Okay.
that I hope it gives you an idea of what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, nice to meet you guys and thank you for having me over for this. I'm glad to share my 2 cents and really looking forward to how this pans out.
Great, 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 amazing. So I would like to start by asking you, like, how long have you been creating content for?
So for me, it'll be 13 years actually this year, in July, I would say. So I've been doing this since forever. I feel I was one of those initial people who had started this when it used to be like a WordPress.com or a Blogspot.com, and Facebook used to be a thing, Twitter used to be a thing. Honestly, for me, it started off with Twitter because I was pretty active on Twitter, and then you used to have those Twitter celebs back then, and then I started posting pictures on Instagram. Instagram was the next thing after that. And a lot of people would be like, oh, you have a great style. Why don't you start like maybe like a blog post or something? That's how I started blogging. And then over the years, like blogs have become redundant, but Instagram is where now most of the action is. A lot of platforms have come and gone, like Snapchat is still now somewhat there, but also Clubhouse. But I think Instagram has something which is sustained itself, obviously apart from YouTube. So I'm not active on YouTube, though I'm more of an Instagram person as of now. But like, yeah, so I've sort of seen all the changes and the shifts in over a decade.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So right now, you're active in Instagram
Yeah.
and not much in YouTube.
No, I'm not
Is
really
it
active
right?
on YouTube. Yes.
Okay. What else? What other platforms do you use to create content?
Honestly, it's just Instagram for now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, so it's a long journey,
Yeah.
and 13 years is not a small feat. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And but let's start from the beginning, right? So, what inspired you to start content creation at first place?
So back then, I was actually working in Hyderabad as an epidemiologist. I mean, I have a medical background. I did my master's in public health with Spilani, and then that's how I got my job as an epidemiologist in Hyderabad. And back then, Hyderabad didn't really have a lot to offer for somebody, especially who's from Delhi. Like we are used to having a little active life. There were not many malls. There was not much to do. Plus, since I was new in the city, I didn't have a lot of friends. So meanwhile, my Instagram was sort of active because that is what I would do on the weekends. So a lot of people would be like, "Why don't you start blogging?" So I think it started off more like a side hobby for me, and I within a year I started getting like campaigns and monetary collaborations. So it came to a point, and that time I had just moved to Novartis also, and the job at Novartis was pretty hectic. It literally required me 9 to 9. So it came to a point where I had to take a call if I should continue my corporate life or should I probably try something more creative, which is also like money wise that time better than what my job was paying me. So I took an elective decision of I was like, okay, let me try this for a year. If it doesn't work out for me, I can always go back to, like my corporate life or my job or whatever. So let's just say it worked out and I never had to go back to my corporate life or job cycle. So yeah, that's how it basically started. But since it was in
Great,
Hyderabad, it
great.
was quite a challenge also because then back then, see, as it is, bloggers, blogging, content creation was a very fresh and new concept, and a lot of people didn't understand. Like, oh, are you a model? Oh, what do you do? Do you do ads? It was very difficult to explain, especially in Hyderabad. There were not a lot of people doing. Like, it was still very actively done in Bombay and Delhi, and even Bangalore for that matter. But Hyderabad, again, like I said, there was not a lot. So I literally had to fight for campaigns with brands. I was like, no, I'm also Delhi based. I'm from Delhi. I do shuttle between Delhi and Hyderabad. I had to play around all of that. And that's how I could like start getting like work. But I think I was again one of the initial ones to bring that attention to Hyderabad then I would say. and then I moved around.
Right. So this is which year when you started your journey in Hyderabad?
2012, I would say 2012.
12, is it?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
at
yeah.
that time, blogging was your thing, right?
Yeah. I had a WordPress.com, then I got a website. And over the years, I mean, a couple of years back, it got finally hacked and shut down or whatever. But I was like, okay, it's okay. Like, nobody's really reading blogs anymore, so it's fine. So, yeah.
Okay. So how did that monetization happen for a blog? Is it through ads only, or what else was
So
it working?
ads were a thing, but also I think the bigger thing was direct brand collaboration. They used to pay you for Instagram was not so much then, but back then they used to pay you for entire blog post. Like you had a proper
Mhm.
rate card for blog post which came with Facebook post along with their blog post plus Facebook post plus Instagram post. So you used to have these packages back then itself, and then there were other things like event launches to cover, there were like travel stuff. So I think there was more like a direct collaboration thing which would pay more than just ads, because ad would hardly pay you like much, honestly.
Mm. So, the when we say creating content, there are multiple types, right? Your
Yeah,
blogging is obviously one.
yeah.
So, how did you learn that skill of the creating an engaging blog, the write up and all? How did you gain that? Because you said your background is in medical.
Yeah, I think it was more like an on-the-job training. Trust me when I say this, I didn't even know how to do makeup. I was as raw as anything then. Forget like even how to pose. I was very camera shy back then, but I didn't never realize that that's gonna be like my job at the at some point. But it's just been an on-the-job training, I would say. Like you pick up skills, you have to learn, you have to adapt, plus you have to stay relevant. I mean, it's been 13 years. You can imagine people, so many people have come and gone in the industry, and so many fresh new faces keep coming. I think the biggest hack is also to figure like how do you or how can you stay relevant, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, did you have any kind of a support system or a mentor kind of a figure to help you through this?
Honestly, no, because I mean, there were not many people doing it back then, but it was just a small community, and I think that time people were more friendly and helpful. Like you would meet other people, other creators, and because they were all trying out new things. It was a new industry, it was fresh, so everybody was pretty supportive. I would say we all were, whoever I knew, like whoever I've known since then, we have been supportive of each other's journey, and we would just be like, okay, this is where I'm at. What do you think I can do better? Even now, like I reach out to a couple of my really, really good friends who are from the industry whenever I'm in doubt, whenever I feel stuck, like, okay, look at my feed with fresh set of eyes and tell me where am I lacking, what can I do better. So I feel that support, obviously, like from home front, you need that support for your family to understand what you're doing, because again, it's not a very conventional job. So obviously that home support is needed. That plus you need to have really good friends in the same industry who understand the industry, and they can actually sort of give you feedback that works for you. And now over the years, we all have strategic teams, we have talent management agencies, we have managers. So things have changed now. So, but like, yeah.
Okay, so when you say back then people are very supportive and the community was supportive, so what
Right.
has changed now?
I think now I would say it's not like they're not supportive, but it's become more like people have their own groups, like everybody's just happy with their groups. So, which is fine, I guess, because now there's so many people, it's impossible to have like one big group. So, if people rather have like small groups and they're all happy amongst each other. Everyone's supportive still, but like, yeah, I mean, in the end, it's still competition, because now, so when we started, it was more like a hobby thing. We're just doing it like because we love doing it. It's also become a lot of money driven industry, because now everyone has to like compete with like 100,000 people for the same campaign. Let's be honest, like there are more people for the same campaigns now. So again, like people like to still keep their distance. So I think there are only a handful of people you can really have. Oh, they're my close in the industry.
Right. So you started, your blog was going well, and
Yeah,
you were getting a good amount of deals through brands
right.
and all for that. So why did you move to the next phase of video blogging or Instagram to say? How did
I
that transition happen?
I think again it was the demand. Like now brands had started asking like, yo, we need reels, we need videos. So again, you had to then look for production team accordingly. You had to learn, you had to figure. So again, like I said, it's very on the job thing that you have to adapt yourself. You have to keep evolving as per the demand comes if you want to stay in the industry. Otherwise, you will be weeded out. You won't even realize when.
Okay. So, what kind of changes you had to go through from the written text format to the video format, or what are learnings that you had through
Uh,
that phase?
I think I had to obviously, besides just understanding as shallow as it may sound, but obviously understanding your better angles, like, okay, these are the
Mhm.
angles that look better, or these are more flattering poses. But I also think like you have to sort of get a sense of directional understanding because see, even though the scripts are approved, I mean, script writing, of course, we have to send across all our scripts ourselves to the brand. We need to have that vision for our video. If a brand comes up with a product, okay, this is the product, these are the key talking points, this is the vibe we want, but beyond that, you have to write the script. Then you need to have a sense of direction because you're going to guide your videographer that, listen, this is the flow, how I want of the video, these are the transitions I want, this is the kind of edit I want, this is the kind of color toning I want. Like you have to learn these things. And how do you learn? I mean, internet is the best teacher when it comes to these things. As you watch more and more stuff online, and you learn, and that's what you basically can use. And it's a lot of trial and miss method. Like you try a lot of things, you miss a lot of things. You some things work out well for you. A lot of videographers work out well for you. A lot of guys don't work out well for you. So it's again like a very on the job thing. You learn as you do and you grow, basically.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. So now you've transitioned into getting yourself public in the video format. And
Right.
now the amount of effort that needs to go in is also increased, I presume,
Right.
the setting up the videos and also how did
Right.
you manage all of this?
See, you have to, it's a constant struggle. I'll be honest. Like, okay, and I need location. So you have to tie up with a lot of people. You already have also have to set up your home a certain way. Let's be honest. Any creator you go, their house will be done differently as compared to somebody who's not a creator, because they need those aesthetic spots in their house where they can shoot their day-to-day stuff. Like even now, I'm constantly working on how to get better areas in my house where I can shoot my organic stuff. For campaigns, they always need background approvals. They're very clear, like, okay, these are the kind of background or the vibe we get. So either we set up those background, it could be paper background, it could be a certain kind of wall, it could be a wallpaper, or you might also have to tie up with certain locations. Like you can have to say, like, I reach out to a hotel property that I am in touch with, and listen, I want to shoot at your property because of the requirement, or even my organic post. And in return, I can give you like, credits. Like I can tag and I can do a dedicated, or I can do a dedicated post for your property, like, or share an experience of myself or my stay or whatever at this property. Or you can do the same thing in certain cafes and restaurants. They help you with location and do a few stories and all for them, give them credits in the reel for location. So it's again like you have to figure out basis the requirement for your, even if, and a lot of times you also like scout those locations in the heat. Like it could be something out in the nature, or we've gone to these old architectural heritage areas also if you wanted a certain vibe or a certain look for our post. So you have to keep scouting for locations as well, which is why your photographers also need to have an eye themselves. Like if you talk to these people, they also know a certain location. So it has to be a constant conversation and listen, this is what I'm planning to do. Where can we do this? So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So how are you managing things? Like, do you have a team which is doing everything for this, some
Yeah.
background work?
So I, till about last year, I had a talent management which was handling me, but then I figured that I would rather do things myself because that was not working out that well for me. So as of now, I have like a EA, I have a manager, like my CA for my finance stuff, but I also have like these other freelance managers I work with on a commission basis. But fixed people right now, I only have my assistant, my CA, and my manager.
Right. So rest you get on freelance basis.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay. So when you mentioned that your brand, when you had a brand management, and they didn't work out, is
yeah.
there any particular pain point in that they didn't address for you, or why did it not
I feel like
suit
they
you?
weren't, I don't know, it wasn't just working for me. They weren't bringing me enough campaigns. I feel like my profile could get more campaigns, but it was not working out with them. So I said, okay, let's just make it non-exclusive. You guys can bring me campaigns. We'll work on commission basis, but I cannot strictly only work with you. I need to then open my, channel for other people also. Whoever can bring me work, whoever can bring me leads, like whatever. A lot of leads I get directly also because I've built contacts over the years. So I said I'm happy to work with like a little bit with everyone, and I'm happy to work with on commission basis with 10 people rather than like just one agency. I feel like I'm tied down there then.
Right, right, right. So in between your conversation, you mentioned that now a lot of people are actually competing for the same campaign or
Yeah.
the same deal. And so how do you think, how are you navigating that competition, or what
It's
different are
so
you
it's
doing?
not like nobody's actively competing for it, but there's price point. that everybody has. There's the engagement, there's the kind of content they provide, the kind of production. So everything, everyone's trying to up their game. But also like after point, especially I feel like after COVID, things have changed a lot in terms of, because there's so many new people. A lot of young people have also come in the industry, which is amazing. But I feel like that sort of has messed up the market in terms of commercials, because I see kids who are happy to even work for free for the same campaign. Like we would be quoting a certain good number. A lot of my peers also I know have slashed their prices down. Like even I sometimes have to take that call where I'm like, okay, let's just do it at a lesser cost than I would have imagined doing it at. So in terms of all of this, because there's so much quantity, of like the kind of people who can produce the same content is out there. There's always a constant fight for commercial, like who's getting like giving like a better cost to a brand for the same reel, because all of them want to obviously like do cost cutting at their end also, let's be honest. So a lot of time it also like, beside obviously like brands who have direct relations with you, who understand the value you bring on the table, they'll pay you whatever. But a lot of times brands also don't have the budget, so they also have to make these decisions as to like, okay, let me just work with this person because they're either doing it for free or for barter or for a lesser amount of money. So it's just become very messy now. It used to be more organized back, I think, before COVID, but now it's just become, yeah.
Right, right. So, I'm just curious to know, how do you actually determine a price for this campaign, or how do you, is there a negotiation happening? How do you determine the price?
So you have to set a certain rate, understanding from different people in the industry, like say like your managers or say the team you've had, and you get a little bit of idea of what your peers are charging. So you have to make a price point like at that particular thing, which sort of balances out everything. It's not too much, it's not too low, because see, every brand is gonna negotiate at the end of the day. So you start with a certain
Hmm.
number, keeping a room for a little bit of negotiation, and then you have to decide how low you want to go, like again.
Hmm.
So that's how you basically figure. Or you can also like offer them like, okay, let me do an extra story for you for the same price. I can do that for you. I can do this also for you. A lot of my brands want, okay, like, can you in the cost of the reel, can you also give us 2 months of usage, right? So you have to, it's like very brand to brand. It depends. Like nothing is fixed. Like you start with a fixed rate card, but again, it literally gets down to brand what they are negotiating for and how comfortable you are with whatever they are trying to get out of you.
Amazing. Okay. So, uh, the content which you produce. So, what was your learnings in terms of understanding your audience, or maybe trying different niches? How did you come up with a niche, or how did that journey happen?
So I feel I'm somebody who cannot restrict myself to one particular genre or niche. That's why if you see my
Mm-hmm.
feed, like I do a little bit of everything. I do lifestyle, I do fashion, I do beauty, I do travel, even automobiles, everything. Because I feel like if I'm not that person who can do one thing, I don't know. I feel like my audience also would want variety on my feed. And plus, it's like a little bit for something for everyone. It's kind of my motto. Like, okay, I would like to offer something for everyone. If anybody who, like, if a 40-year-old guy opens my feed, he might probably like the video I shot for Mercedes because it might interest him. And if I shot a video, say like for a lipstick brand, like maybe an 18-year-old girl would be tempted to buy it because she liked the shade or she liked like what I talked about it. So I want to offer something for everyone. Basically, that's the idea, and that's what keeps me also interested.
So how do you track or measure the content engagement performance? If this is working well, this is not working well. Is there a
We,
process to that?
so we have to keep a check on our back end, like which is bringing us more views and which is getting more engagement in terms of, and what kind of audience is getting engaged. Because see, with every collab post also we anyway have to send the back end insights to the brand, right? And even
Mhm.
sometimes before they ask you, we want to like get to know the population breakup or the city breakup. So you also have to keep track of your back end to know like what's working better for you, and accordingly, like I might post a reel, it might not work for me. Like a lot of people do these comedy reel, it works really amazing for them, which is why they start doing comedy reels more. It's the same thing. If I feel like a travel post might do better for me, I will do more travel then. So we have to sort of kind of keep seeing our back end and make an educated uh, strategy that okay, this is what I should be posting.
Right, right. So talking about the financials of this, and so getting a brand deal is one source of income. So are there any other kind of sources which through which income for from your content?
So there's brand deals, which is direct Instagram posts. There you can do workshops. Like a lot of brands wanted to conduct workshops, lifestyle workshop, styling workshop, beauty workshop. Then there's event coverages, new brand launches that they want you to do. Then there's guest listing. A lot of people want you to do guest list. That's also money. And then a lot of influencers are also now branching out and doing, like, their own certain line of products with a certain brand, that okay, this is my collection. They make some money out of it. Then you also have affiliate marketing, where, like, say Nykaa, for example, or Amazon, they're like, you post our links and then we track it and you get a certain amount. A lot of brands also give coupon codes and stuff like that. So that is there. But then again, a lot of influencers are also moving on to developing their own brand over the period of time, which makes sense because we have to reach that audience. So why not?
Okay, okay. So, if you have to give me a split between these income sources in terms of percentage, how will it look like?
I think 50% would be, at least for me, 50% would be direct, 50 to 60% would be direct collaborations, and the rest of
Hmm?
40 aspas would be like the indirect collaborations, basically.
Right, right, right. So we are again seeing from outside also a lot of people starting their own brands.
Yeah.
So why is it? So don't you think it is moving outside their skills of doing content and building up, because building a business is a different aspect. Like, so how are
Right.
people navigating this?
So honestly, most of the influencers I know who have started their brand, either it's in the same genre, like they're either creating
Hmm?
beauty brands or fashion brands or lifestyle
Hmm?
brands,
Hmm?
or they're also doing it in, like, partnering up with certain agencies or different vendors who take care of the business and they navigate them through the whole business aspect of it while they handle the creative and the marketing bit.
Hmm.
So I think it's
Hmm.
always that, but I don't think anybody, at least I don't know someone who's independently done something which is completely
Hmm.
off their genre without any other person's support who's not from a business background.
Right, right. So there is you basically get help from others
Yeah,
who are good in business, and you
right.
take care of the marketing and other
Basically,
things.
if I was to want to
Yeah,
partner
yeah.
up with someone, then I would also get somebody with me for business aspect while I take care of the creative and the marketing bit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you need funding anywhere you go. You can't just start, like, so you would obviously look for a partner who comes from business background and can help you either get funding directly from himself or herself, or
Mm-hmm.
like through some other, like, agent, get you in touch with angel investors or whatever.
Right, right, right. Amazing. So right now, so is this how do you work this? Is this a full-time job or you're doing it part-time, the content creation thing?
So I am sort of, I mean, I literally have a lot of things going on, honestly, for me. Like, I do this, plus I'm also married. So, there comes with a lot of responsibility at home front, which I try to do. But also, like, I'm also studying right now. I finished my second master's in psychology, and I'm doing PGDM in clinical psychology now from IGMPI, because I want to get into mental health and be, I don't know, maybe start psychotherapy or whatever. Like, I'm still figuring, but I got something which is a key area of my interest, and I want to use my platform as well, because I anyway keep talking about things that matter on my platform. Plus, I'm also sort of working on developing a brand for myself too. Like, that is a separate thing that I'm doing, and yeah, other little bit things here and there, basically.
True, true. So we are very well packed, I would say.
Yeah, I am. I
Okay,
am.
okay.
Yeah.
So, considering you as an individual, and there are multiple things that you're doing, the same question, but for this context, is if you have to give me a split of your income through different activities that you do, how would that look like?
See, right now my entire source of income is this, because I'm a
Hmm.
student. I'm trying to bring
Hmm.
work on a brand. So those are
Hmm.
basically places where I'm putting money. Like,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
investing my money there right now, which is coming from here. So I'm funneling this money into that, so that later
Hmm.
these become like different avenues of revenue for me.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So, let me frame it this way. So, what is your biggest dream with content creation?
Honestly, I used to have, but like, I don't think, because like, as a creator, like, oh, I want to go to these international fashion weeks. I want to go to these red carpet moments. But over the years, I know you can get into them by paying a lot of money. So things have lost its charm. The brands I've already worked with, I think 300-400 brands at least in the last 10-13 years. So
Mm,
I don't honestly now vision something here. I rather want to focus on building something else for myself and then scale it up. This for me is like,
mm,
okay, I'll try to keep giving my best and I would want to get more and more work. I just want to do more and more work. I want to do as many campaigns as I can, and I want to focus on doing more organic content for my audience. But other than that, I'm not sort of dreaming for anything. Ki, oh, this is my final objective here. I just want to keep it very open ended, whatever God brings
mm.
in.
Okay, okay, amazing. So the next question I have is, so since you're doing multiple things at this point of time, so how do you ration your time? Do
I
you
think
have,
I'm
do
just perpetually overwhelmed, and I some in any given point of time, one thing is always a mess. Either my work, like my content creation, is a mess, and I'm just gaia. Like I'm not posted for a few days, or my house would be a mess then in between, or I've not picked up a book that I'm like my books that I'm supposed to be studying regularly. I've not studied in like 1 or 2 months. So honestly, one thing I'll be very honest, I'm not that person who's gonna be like, oh, everything is possible, you can do this. Listen, it's difficult to manage 100 things at a time, but yeah, so I keep on sort of like having those blocks where
Mhm.
I try to like figure, okay, what can I prioritize now? It's basically I just have to prioritize that this is what needs my attention as of now. I'll come back to this later. I do try
Mm,
my
mm.
level best, but let's humanly, I think it's impossible. So yeah, you just have to prioritize, and having a schedule helps, but I don't know if I can do that at this point.
Right, right. So is there any kind of support that is coming from your family to manage these things?
Yeah, I feel like, see, unless you have a very supportive family, a very supportive partner,
Mm,
you cannot do that. Like they have to
mm,
kind of let you be okay. Like if she's not like I don't know, like if she's not managing this, or she's if the kitchen is a mess or the house is a mess, let her be, because she's like sort of busy focusing on other things, or if she's not
mm,
focusing on her work because some family emergency has come up, so she's not like probably doing enough campaigns in this month because some family crisis is happening, then it's okay. Like I think you need a very supportive partner and very supportive family who actually understands that okay, you're a human and you're trying to do your best, and you're just doing things what is needed in the moment.
mm, mm. Has
So
it always been your family been supportive for this, or is it they've evolved? They also evolved over time to
I think
gain
my
you.
parents have been extremely supportive from day one. I don't know, surprisingly they are, because I mean, I'm from a regular middle class family, and growing up, my parents were very, very strict, especially because I'm the eldest daughter, and you always get the strictest parents. The your siblings never do.
Mm,
So my growing up, my parents are very, very strict about literally everything. I had a proper time, I had to be home by, and whatever. And those certain rules you have in every middle class family, and they were very academic, like you have to be like you study a lot, get good grades, and I was that person. I was a typical nerd because of them, the way they brought me up. But then I know when I switched my career and how I've been living my life, they've been extremely supportive. Like when people ask me how are your parents, I tell them that my parents, I would say they are spiritual, but they're also liberal. I mean, it's not like they
mm,
don't have,
mm,
I don't have religious values or whatever, but like they're also liberal in understanding that, okay, they also have evolved so much just by learning. It's been a learning curve for them as well. With me, I would say, especially that now my siblings have a very easy life. Like my brother, he's 13 years younger than me, and he just decided to drop out of it as engineering college. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember, had I said that, my parents would have either like, no, continue your studies. But now, like, okay, whatever you want to do, we'll like then he's like, no, I want to go to Europe and study psychology. So I said like, okay. So I think my parents have been just very, very supportive. They're very open. They have always been very clear that okay, once you're an adult, we trust you in taking your own decisions, and just don't forget your upbringing. I think that's how they've always been. So yeah,
you're glad to hear that you have a very supportive family, which
yeah,
most of them don't, but yeah,
yeah.
good to know.
That's what I think. I have my family. I think my parents are very chill, I would say.
Amazing, amazing. So, if you have to tell me one most expensive investment you've made for your content creation journey, what would it be?
Oh, most expensive. I don't know. I think gadgets that we buy, or the trips we
Mm,
take, or the
mm,
bags we
mm,
have to buy. I don't know. Everything is a part of creating a brand of your own self. Like the way you have to project
mm.
yourself. Every small thing is an investment, I think.
Okay, if I have to rephrase it and say, what is the smartest financial investment that you have made? What would that be?
I think honestly, the smartest investment that any creator can do is investing in a good production team. I'll be honest, because no matter what your idea is, no matter what you're trying to do, unless you are backed by a very good production team, like your videographer understands your vision, you have a good editor who understands the kind of content you want, it's all useless.
So how do you go about building this team? Do you have that team right now?
Yeah, I have a production team. I have a videographer slash photographer. I have editors. They have their own multiple editors also in case one is not available. Then you have a backup photographer also. So you have to keep working with them, and then that's when you know whose vision or the way they work aligns with the way you work, who gets your ideas. And obviously nobody sticks around, so you have to keep changing them also in a year or two basis. But like yeah, you have to kind of be very vigilant about that as well. I think that's very key thing you need for your content, having a good production team.
Amazing, amazing.
And of course, like you need a
So,
good assistant as well who can manage the other things.
correct, correct, right. So, in throughout this journey, have you ever felt stressed or burnt out during the process?
Constantly, all the time. Let's be honest, social media is not one of the most healthiest thing to happen to our generation. I mean, it's very
Mhm.
overwhelming. You go through the feed, see somebody who's not a creator. You're like, oh, she has this, oh, she has that life. I also want it for me. I also want that for me. Now, as a creator, you're like, oh, why didn't I get that? Why didn't I get that opportunity? Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, why my video is not looking like that? Oh, I wish I could get that campaign. Oh, why is she getting this much? It's a constant thing. So you have to train your brain to shut it down. Like, I think I never had that feeling till about COVID. During COVID, because
Mhm.
we were just sitting and I was just going through everyone's life, and I was like, and I had to like remind myself that listen, I have to ground myself and like not compare my life. Everyone's on their own journey because it's just not good for your mental health. I've suffered from depression and anxiety in the past due to a certain personal reason, but like, and that sort of added to the whole bit where I'm like, okay, I cannot be doing this. I think that's also where my interest for learning psychology came from, because I'm like, I want to understand and help people better. But I think it's not healthy, and especially when you have so many things aligned, like when you're doing multiple things, you're constantly on that verge of burnout. Like I get burned out very easily because I'm like I get overwhelmed very easily. So I think which is where having a supportive team, plus obviously, and the most important, having a supportive family, your partner is extremely important, who understands that, okay, like, she's overwhelmed. Because I feel like if you have a 9 to 5, 9 to 9 job, 9 to 5 job, great. You have one thing. Your brain has to work on one thing besides obviously the other outside stresses and environmental stresses. But I feel when you have a content creation job, there are 10 different things you also have to parallelly work your brain on besides obviously environmental and other stresses. I know a lot of people see that, okay, content creation kya hai, photo hi to खींच के डालना hai, it's so easy, like you just have to make a reel. But they don't realize in the back there's so much is happening. You're constantly trying to do something besides your regular life. I Some days it's very easy. I just have to get up, I have to shoot something, and I'm like, okay, done. I have a lot of free time also, which is the reason why I picked up a lot of other things. But it's also a career which comes with its shelf life. Let's be honest. Actors have shelf life. Creators obviously do. So in the back of your head, you constantly have this pressure also, like, how do I stay relevant? How do I get more work? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because it doesn't have the job security a regular job or a business would. So there are so many other things which keep you constantly overwhelmed and stressed out. And then I think it's important that everybody takes therapy. I'm very pro therapy. I keep telling everyone that, guys, just take therapy. You know, it'll help. Seek help, I feel. So I think that's important to keep your mental health in check, and acknowledge that something is going on.
Right, right, right. Oh, and so you said कि there is a shelf life for
Yeah.
that everyone has to go through. So what do you think the shelf life is, and do you think it is changed over time?
I think it depends. Like there are people who've been doing this for 15 years, and there are people who I've seen come and gone in 5 years. It depends person to person, I would say, and how they've carried themselves, how I don't know how a lot of people have also electively stepped out of this industry because it wasn't working out for them for a lot of reasons, including mental health reason or family reason or whatever. So I feel like it is a very individual thing, and you cannot say, okay, every creator will have only this X number of shelf life. It depends.
Right, 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 right. So, as a content creator, you are putting yourself out in the public, and the negativity or the criticism that comes is bound to come. And so, how
Yeah,
do you handle that?
the amount of negativity I've gotten in the past, it's insane. I'll be very honest, due to my whole personal life crises, the things that I've gone in the past, and since everything is out there on social media, people are too quick to judge without understanding, what is going on. And the country loves hating on women, let's be honest, especially a woman who's making her own money, is independent. People don't want to look into that. They just want to hate on her. It's just how it is, because we do come from a very patriarchal system where misogyny is internalized in all of us. So I've gotten so much hate, and there was a point of time in my life that because I'd gone under depression. I was suffering with severe depression. I had general anxiety. It took me a lot of therapy and a lot of grounding work to deal with the kind of hate I was getting, the kind of things people were saying. And the thing is, it's okay, you can still deal with yourself, but when you see your parents also getting to see those things, that okay, people are talking this stuff about my daughter or my child, especially when they know how their kid is. एक तो होता है कि parents are like, oh, I know she's done this, so it is, things are coming out. But when they know that she's not like this, she's not done something like this, but the kind of negativity that is happening, I think for me, I think that was more upsetting than something coming to me directly. I was like, okay, people are on talk, they'll probably shut down in like a month. But seeing my parents go through that, I think that was more depressing, I would say. But I think, again, you have to have these conversations with your family where you tell them that, listen, it'll pass. But for that, you have to become stronger yourself first, which is why, again, like I said, therapy, you need to seek help whenever it's needed. You need to acknowledge that, okay, I'm getting this hate, I'm not able to handle it, I'm getting so mentally overwhelmed, let me seek help. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of though it seems a very good aspiring career, so there are a lot of things that you have to go through to reach that space. So,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
kept you motivated to continue this journey?
I think the kind of financial independence it brought me. I love this job because the things it has brought me. For a person who's come from a regular middle class family, and you've gone through these magazines where you would spot these amazing brands, or you would see these travel photos, these places you wanted to, like, you aspired going to. I think my work has helped me work with those brands, or to be able to buy those brands, or to travel to those countries to see the kind of things I want to see. So I'm extremely grateful. I think this has helped me to get a life that I always wanted to get. For me, is the reason why it helps me sort of keep going. My motivation to continue working is to bring the life, to have the life that I want for myself on my own self. Like, I don't want to be dependent on somebody, even though I have like amazing family or supporter. But I just want to be financially independent and do things I want to do for myself.
Right, right, amazing. So, if you have to tell me one proudest moment of being a content creator, what would it be?
I, I think a lot of features that have happened in the past, like, those magazines or like some newspaper that are featured you to even working with like some really amazing brands that you always aspire to. Like, I think I won't say there's one proud moment, and there are little too many proud moments. Like, the other day, I was just talking to my husband that, listen, but I did a campaign for Bata. Now, when I look at it, the first shoe I ever bought for my school was Bata. Like, life is a full circle. It's like a full circle moment for me. So I feel like these small things is what makes me happy. I'm not somebody who looks into very big thing. I'm somebody who tries to find joy in small things, and these small things make me really emotional and sentimental, and I attach my sentimental values to these small things. So I feel like I have had a lot of these little proud moments.
Amazing, amazing. Now, if you look back at your journey and if you can tell us a few incidents that that was pivotal for you to attain this experience or the growth, are there any incidents like that?
Uh, I think uh, I think I can't point again to one particular instance. Again, there've been very small things that have sort of helped me get into it, I would say.
Okay, okay, okay. So you've learned a lot throughout this journey, and you've reached a stage which is very a bit aspirational for many of them right now. But what is the biggest risk that you have taken to attain this position?
I think leaving my job, I would say, because especially I was a very academically strong person. So when you leave something behind and then it doesn't work out, I
Mm,
mean, you
mm,
can take a sabbatical for a year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. Imagine it not working out for me after 5 years. Going back to job is difficult then. I feel like taking that decision is very difficult, which is also the reason why I keep telling everyone, okay, if you want to be a content creator, you want to be a YouTuber, amazing, great, but always keep your academics rock solid, because if something doesn't work out, you should have something to fall back upon, which is a reason I tell when I see somebody, like, I also meet these young kids at events and they're like, oh, I dropped out of college, or I'm thinking of dropping out of college to do this. I always tell them, please don't, like, do this simultaneously and finish your studies. At least have your, like, okay, this, you've done this. And let's be honest, even if you don't use this education later in your career, but no education goes waste. You can always apply these as small life lessons, and you never know when it comes handy, but you should never drop out of college or whatever. So I'll always try to tell people, just at least, like, make sure that you've done your studies great.
Okay, okay, okay. So there, this has to be something that you can start as a part-time, figure out whether
Yeah,
it is working, then
yeah,
later
yeah.
maybe jump into it.
That's what I
That
always
is
recommend, and that's what I did too. That's what I always recommend.
right. Amazing, amazing. So again, you have figured out a lot of things by your own throughout this process. But is there something that is still a challenge for you that you're not able to figure out, or that is a very big problem that you're facing in this
I think as of now, for
at
me,
this point?
time management is the biggest thing. Like I told you, I have so many things going on, and I think
Mhm.
I need to be able to produce more content on a daily basis. I think, which is last 1 year has been extremely hectic, because we've had back-to-back family crises in terms of a lot of medical issues in my family. So I think, so time management becomes a little difficult, especially when you're so mentally overwhelmed at, like, your family front. You can't focus on your work. So I think for now I need to figure, like, if I need to find a better way how I can still be present at work, even though something else is happening in my life. So I think right now I'm kind of dealing with that as a challenge, but hopefully soon I'll figure that out too.
True, true, very true. So, again, as you already mentioned that you've seen multiple types of content and multiple mediums of content also. So, in the current platforms like Instagram, so the algorithm keeps changing
Yeah,
now and
yeah.
then, right? So, do you think that is affecting your content engagement, or how are you dealing with it?
I think it does, but the only thing you can still do is just like shut yourself from all this noise outside and just continue doing.
Mhm.
Because, see, you can either stress about it and sit up and get anxious about it, or you can just continue doing what you're doing and figure out what is working out best for you and accordingly keep working. So there's two ways
Mhm.
of looking at it. So you rather do in a more positive manner. So it's basically that.
Right, right. So, any kind of communities which you are part of where you can seek help, or maybe share your experience also? Is there kind of a gathering that happens in general?
So actually, they are no surprisingly, they are not such communities where it's like where creators can come together. A lot of
Mhm.
agencies, I feel like, I think, because so many talent agencies have come up and they have so many influencers or creators on board. I think they try to help the creator with the whole strategy building, or helping them out whatever they need. That no such particular separate community has come as such. So yeah.
But do you think something if like that exists, would it be helpful for someone who's upcoming where you've learned a lot? You can maybe help them.
I mean, sure, why not? Because there are a lot of creators, young creators, who always reach out to you that, hi, I'm thinking of starting this. What can I do? Can you give some advice? Can you help? And we're always, happy to help. Why not? Like, because let's be honest, the more creators we have, the bigger this industry will get. And it's going to be beneficial for all of us. Like, it's a huge industry. There's a lot of money in this industry. And the more it grows, the more money it'll bring everyone.
True, true, true. Amazing. So, you're already doing multiple things, three, four things. But is there a hobby that outside of these regular activities that you take to take a break from these things?
I think, I love music. So whenever things get too much and I just want to shut everything completely out, I like to sit in my balcony or the terrace and just put some nice music. And I actually find heavy metal or metal calming. So I just put on some Metallica or Iron Maiden or Black Sabbath, and I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah. So that's what
Right, right, right.
basically I do.
That's your stress buster.
Yeah. Or some trap
Okay,
music.
okay.
Yeah, but I also love going to music festivals. I love anything music. I love basically.
Mm-hmm. So, coming back to brand collabs, I just want to understand. So, are there like does the number of brand collabs that happen every month is it dependent on something like does it keep varying
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the brand?
it's very erratic. It's very erratic. There would be a month where you might not have any work. There could be a month where you have a lot of work. So it literally depends. That's like I said, it doesn't have the job security of a regular job. You don't know what next month will bring in. So you always have to be mentally prepared for it. So which is the also reason why a lot of creators are constantly anxious that let's say I don't know if I'm gonna get work next month or not. So you have to like kind of also plan your finances accordingly.
So how do you manage this inconsistency, if I have to say?
Uh, I don't know. I just I just try to be optimistic. I try not to think too much about it because I know if I start thinking about it, I'll go down that spiral and I'll completely like mess up my head. So I try not to, I probably talk to my friends and
Mm.
then they calm me down. They give me hope. If I get too worried, I'll speak to like my husband or I'll be like, okay, so somebody will eventually manage to calm me down and I'll be optimistic that I'll look forward to the next month.
Okay, okay, okay. So right now you have someone to support you in the
Yeah, yeah,
mental aspect, you
yeah,
said,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. You to a certain extent can support as being a
Yeah, yeah.
understanding psychology. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think,
Amazing.
which is the reason why I've gotten a lot calmer in the last 1 2 years. And I try, like, whenever I see a situation, I take a step back and I reevaluate and I
Mm.
try to ground myself before reacting to it or before getting too worried or anxious. I used to have a lot of anxiety attacks, I think, till about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it's after I started taking therapy, I realized, okay, it's really helps. And that's when I'm like, okay, let me try to understand and learn better. So now I don't
Mm.
react too much to the situation. I try to just like ground myself first, look at it from a different perspective, and then figure it out and try to stay calm. कि अच्छा ठीक है अब जो होगा देखा जाएगा काम आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा नहीं आ रहा let me focus on that, let me not burn myself out. If I get overwhelmed, I completely shut myself and I just lie on the bed and do
Mm.
nothing. I allow myself that space to feel what I'm feeling and get it
Yeah,
over with and move on to the next thing.
good, good, amazing. So, have you ever regretted your choice of becoming a creator?
Honestly, I don't think, I mean, I have no regrets. I'm happy.
Okay, okay. So, um, so you've done a lot of investment in trying to build a brand as well, and my question is your income from the content actually matching your expense? Like, are you profitable at the moment?
Yeah, I
To
mean,
throw.
content creation can get a lot of money. I think people don't realize that it can bring a lot of money because and if you plan your finances smartly, it can like invest in mutual
Mm.
funds or SIPs or whatever works for you. I think having a financial portfolio is always advised because, like I said, it's a very erratic uh, work in terms of finances. Nothing is fixed. So I think you just have to be a smart planner. Otherwise, it can really bring you a good money.
Right. Do you remember your first income or the paycheck that you got through this?
Yeah, I did this whole. I remember the first collaboration I did was with this online platform back then, Hoops, and they gave me like 10,000 for a blog post. That was back in 2013.
Wow,
I was
10,000
like,
is
okay,
a
for a
huge
blog
amount, huh?
post. Yeah, yeah. Back then it was like good money. I was like, oh wow.
Amazing, amazing. So
Yeah.
from there, how do you see the platforms have changed? What changes you see a platform in terms of the platform support for creators and all?
I feel like now, back then we used to have a lot more creative freedom. Like brands could blindly trust us that, okay, this is a product and you talk about it in whatever manner you want to talk about it. But now I think because of the volume of people and work,
Mm.
there's not much space for creative freedom. Like it comes with a set brief that, okay, like this is how like these are the point, this is how the background should be, this is how your makeup should be, this is how your outfit should be,
Mm.
this is the
Mm.
color of your outfit that should be, this is how your nails should be, this is how these are the 5 things you have to talk about, this is exactly what we want in a shot. And I'm like, I understand it's a set formula that you've given to 10 people, but again, it's the same thing 10 people are doing in this little bit of different manner. Where's the individuality? I feel back then it was just easier to portray your individuality, even with
Mm-hmm.
campaigns. But now it's not so much. Not a lot of brands allow you that creative freedom for the reasons, obviously, which I'm sure they have valid reasons for it. Because sometimes, because there's so many new people, also they also have to make sure that it works out for them. So I completely understand where they're also coming from. But I feel like can be more brainstorming sessions with each independent creator before they kind of go ahead with a certain campaign. But a lot of things are also very last minute, so I understand. But yeah, it is what it is.
Right, right, right. So, where do you see yourself taking? How long do you think you'll continue this content creation journey? Do you
Honestly,
have any
I don't
milestones in
know.
mind?
I try not to think about it because I feel the more you think about it, expectations start building up, and if things don't happen, then you get disappointed. So I honestly, I that is also one of the learning lessons that I've gotten in the last 2 years, that it's easier to let go of things when you don't have expectations, when you don't make plans. So I'm literally going with the flow. I like whatever happens will happen for the best. If not, I'll figure.
Right, right, right. So this the next question is more of a curious question on. I see you have a verified account in Instagram, and how
Yeah.
does that verification actually happens?
So verification is you have to, for me back then, Facebook happened automatically. They reached out and they said, okay. And then Instagram also, you can either apply for it. And now you can even like pay
Hmm.
like a monthly subscription. It's very simple. But I think I think the main reason the blue tick helps is to at least authenticate that this is your actual profile rather than like people
Hmm.
making fake profiles. Second thing, I think it helps us like it helps with the hacking attempts. I think it's a more secure version of a regular profile because there people are constantly trying to hack your profile. It's a very common practice. You have to keep yourself protected. I think it helps with that. Plus, I think better support happens since if you have a creator with a blue tick, if you reach out to Instagram for any issue, I think they're more prompt.
Right, right. So, so you said there are two ways to get it. One you can either directly apply,
Yeah.
or the other one is.
The other one is you pay a monthly subscription.
Right. So is this open for anyone who has an Instagram profile, or there is a certain level that you have to cross?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know.
Right,
Yeah, that I
right,
think it
right,
should
right.
be open to all because I see a lot of people who, even with personal accounts having blue tick, sometimes you just like check out like if somebody comments on your profile, you can sometimes you open out of curiosity who is this person. So I've also seen a lot of personal accounts which are private also having a blue tick. So probably it is open to all now.
Acha. Okay, okay. Um, so you've seen the evolution of content, and from till, where do you see content as maybe in terms of the medium or in terms of platform evolving?
I think I only see it growing, like no matter people how much they say that, oh, influencer industry is a sham, it may not have a long future. But listen, it's literally growing by millions and millions of dollars every year. People feel more
Mm-hmm.
connected to, individuals, creators, because than like when we were kids, used to watch ads like with actors in it. I mean, we would buy a product because we were a fan, but not a lot of, but that relatability factor was never there. But creators have bridged that gap. Creators are like day to they feel connected to, and that's how relative factor. And you cannot take away so now that creativity that is going to be there. So I want this industry growing because not has stop. You cannot. Nothing can stop that connection people have with people online now, especially YouTube. You see, people are literal fans of YouTubers. Like they will do anything. So that kind of connection, I think, only social media platforms brings to people, and that's why I don't see this industry going anywhere but only growing and up.
Right, right. Amazing, amazing. So I've covered
Sorry,
almost
I can't
what.
hear you. I think there's something wrong with my. 1 second. Mm. Hi, sorry.
Yeah,
Can you
I
see
hope
and
we
hear
are
me?
audible.
I don't know, I think my headphones just like decided to die on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are audible, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I we have almost covered most of it. What your journey is about. There's one last question I have, which is, are you happy doing this?
I think, yeah, more or less. I would say, I feel like as long as I get to be my own boss at the end of the day, I enjoy that because also like working in a corporate sector, I realize I cannot do that. I have such a huge amount of respect and appreciation for people who are into corporate cycle because it's not easy. I have mad respect for them,
Hmm.
especially people who literally also like, drive for an hour to get to the place and then drive back home 1 hour. I have mad respect. I cannot do that. So I think because I have that privilege of working out of my home, deciding my own working hours, being my own boss, I think that's why I love this job for that.
Right. So one follow-up question on this is, you're doing your second master's on
Yeah.
psychology,
Yeah.
and
I finished that MA psychology. And now I'm doing the PGDM, particularly for clinical psychology.
clinical.
Yeah.
So, is there a specific reason you're doing this despite your content creation journey is going well?
It's an area of interest because like
Ah,
I've come from a certain place where I really appreciated how it helped me. Plus, I've also always been interested in medicine in some way, and then psychology really interests me, and I feel like I can use my platform for a bigger purpose if I can, besides what I'm doing. And that's I think that was like a really huge motivating factor for me.
amazing. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experience through it. And it's been a long journey, and
Right.
you've learned a lot through this. And happy to know your journey as a creator. And
Yeah.
we have one last request is to, as we mentioned, we're trying to connect with different content creators and
Right.
understand the journey. Do you have anyone in mind who can give us a different perspective as a creator? Like
I
in
can
your,
send a few profile links and you can always reach out to them. I think I can just
yeah,
think of few people who I feel like are doing an amazing job and who also like, either have like their own independent brands also or are working on something else besides content creation. I'll think of a good mix of people and I'll send those profile links to you.
definitely. I'll just follow up you on this to maybe
Sure.
late evening. We'll
Sure.
catch up. Sure.
Okay.
So thank you for joining
Thank you.
and have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.